Hey Saucy, so I wanted to get on here really fast and talk about what I've been observing with the men, our MLS men versus unambiguous dark-skinned black men. And I noticed there was some tension between the two, but I never really paid it much attention because the men are not really that loud. They're not as loud as the women are. So I, being a woman, thought that this was just something that we were facing as MLS women. So it's difficult as a woman to know what angle the men are coming from because largely they're so silent. But, as a woman, you know where the women are coming from. But as for the men, I noticed that it's pretty much the same vitriol coming from some of the unambiguous dark-skinned black men toward the MLS men. And except that the unambiguous dark-skinned black men attack their masculinity. Whereas the women, they talk about, they attack our pedestals, and they talk about how we're more privileged and that our privileges that we are receiving is somehow victimizing them or like an affront to them. So it's unambiguous dark-skinned black men and unambiguous dark-skinned black women. Not all, but enough of them are cut from the same cloth when it comes to MLS people. And a lot of the reasons why unambiguous dark-skinned black men are so resentful towards MLS men is the fact that MLS men can do the exact same things they can do. They can be hyper masculine, they can rap, they have the same rhythm and soul, they have the ability to move around in all black spaces, but they have the ability to move around in multicultural spaces, which is something that unambiguous dark-skinned black men cannot do as easily because MLS men have the phenotype. A lot of MLS men speak other languages. They have looser textured hair, and a lot of women of different races thirst after them. And either women of different races thirst after them at the same rate as they do the dark-skinned men, if not more. Because a lot of MLS men have a fluid identity. They can move around in multicultural spaces easier. A lot of them speak several different languages because their parent is they have a non-black parent. They make excellent husbands, leaders, fathers. They've been playing huge leadership roles in the black community since slavery. Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, Farrakhan, Huey Newton, Ali. They've been our activists. Shaka Zulu was light-skinned. Nat Turner was biracial. Shout out to the light-skinned historian for teaching me that. I learned that from watching his channel. And MLS men, like I know a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black men too, they like to make a lot of references to their private parts when they approach women. And so they talk about how they can like lay her down and put her to sleep and lay the pipe. But MLS men can do the same thing. They can lay the pipe too. They can put you to sleep, and they look like that. So there's definitely a lot of vitriol coming from unambiguous dark-skinned black men toward MLS men because they feel threatened. They feel threatened by their masculinity, so that's the first thing that they attack, saying that they're pretty boys and they take just as much time getting ready as the woman and they're soft. But history shows us there's nothing soft about light-skinned men, MLS men. They stood up and they had the balls and the audacity to stand up to the enslavers and speak truth to power when a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black men were talking about singing Kumbaya and getting along with each other. No disrespect to MLK. And if you look at unambiguous dark-skinned black men, a lot of them, kind of do simp a lot for like when it comes to other races. Like they do. Like they're so desperate to be accepted, they come off that way. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, like enough of them do, to where it's like noticeable. And the MLS men don't have to do that. Also, one of the reasons why I think that unambiguous dark-skinned black men were so hyped up in the 80s and the 90s, in the 90s and the 2000s, not the whole reason, because like I said in the previous video, when the rap music took off in the 90s, or I should say gangster rap took off with NWA and Tupac, Biggie, dark-skinned men were associated with the hyper-masculine image So, like I said in the previous video, black people tend to conflate violence with strength, just like they conflate sex with love. A lot of people in the black community do. Not all of them, but a lot of people do. So I think partially a lot of women started to like build up dark-skinned black men, not only because they were hyper masculine, but because if they built up the dark-skinned black man and built up appreciation for dark skin, I believe a lot of women who are dark-skinned at that time thought that the appreciation for the dark-skinned man would trickle down to them. And so I think that has a lot to do with why a lot of people built them up and gassed up dark-skinned black men so much. Not that dark-skinned black men are not attractive, or not that they can't be attractive. It's just that, or that MLS men are better than them. I'm not saying that. But it's not MLS people walking around making songs about how they not like us while you procreating with somebody that you trying to take shots at. It's not us that's talking all the shit on platforms and calling them soft and calling them, trying to emasculate them. It's not MLS men doing that. It's them doing that to MLS men. So, I mean, they should have just kept quiet and let it go. Now they done poked the bear and woke us up. MLS men and MLS women. And we bring in the smoke. I'm sorry, but if it don't apply, let it fly. If you're not the one that's, I ain't talking to you if you ain't the one that's coming at MLS people, but, for the ones that are coming at us, like, we can't sit around and be quiet forever, because, we deserve our respect just like anybody else. And it's like, and dark-skinned people hate to see MLS people find success, because the first thing they'll do is talk about how we got successful because of our phenotype and our skin tone. Just like what they're doing with the Green Lantern actor and many other MLS people. And it's just a lot of hypocrisy. But yeah, MLS men are the shit, like I said before. But that's my rant. Feel free to email me with your exotical story times or any experiences you've had with the black community at exoticalsauce@gmail.com. And don't forget to like, comment, and share the video and subscribe. And I love you all. Thank you for listening.